Hi there, welcome to my kitchen. I'm glad you could join me today. I have a busy afternoon planned, so I am going to put some chicken in the slow cooker for supper tonight. I'll be fixing a very large pot of shredded chicken. I bought a family size pack of chicken today, and instead of separating it into individual meals and freezing what I don't need to use right away, I'm going to cook all of it and then freeze what I don't eat tonight. So let's just go ahead and get started. This is a very large package of chicken, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and then I'm going to trim any fat or any unpleasant bits off the chicken that I do not want to put in with the meal. So there's a little bit here that I'm going to trim off. Just make sure we have lots of nice good chicken meat without any extra nasties that we don't want to bite into. This is already boneless and skinless, so there's not too much cleaning up I need to do. And I'll do the same with all 4 pieces of chicken. In case you're wondering, I have a little trash bag here in the sink beside me where I'm throwing all these bits that I'm coming off it. You can't really see that, but it's there. I think we have it all fairly well trimmed out. I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands now before I start seasoning this, so just give me a moment. So now that my hands are clean, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle the chicken with my powdered seasoning and with one hand, and then put the chicken in the pot with the other hand. So I'm going to sprinkle really well with onion powder. This container is going to run out on me. I have a fresh bottle right here as well, so that's the end of that bottle. Some garlic powder, whoops, it's a new bottle that came out very strongly, and some black pepper. I'm not going to put any salt on the chicken because I'm going to be using some soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce, and that can be very salty, so I'll wait until excuse me, I'll wait until about halfway through the cooking when I can do a taste test, and then if it needs more salt I'll add it then. So I'll go ahead and sprinkle the other side as well. A bit easier this time because I put so much on the first time. And just pop it in the slow cooker. Just not quite so much and get everything sprinkled up. And nicely arranged in the cooker. We had some little pieces that I cut off as well. I'll just rub them in the seasonings I have here on the bottom of the package and throw those in the pot. Now I'm going to stop and wash my hands again so that I can put my wet ingredients into the pot. So once again, I'll take a break here, get my hands washed, wipe down the counter, and be right back. Now for my wet ingredients, I'm going to use a little bit of chicken broth. You can use store-bought or homemade chicken broth, or you could even use just a little bit of water, just something to make sure that there's a little bit of liquid in there to get the process started. We'd probably only need about a half a cup or so, just to, say 2 to 4 ounces, just so that we have some liquid in the bottom of the pot. And then I'm just going to liberally sprinkle with a Worcestershire sauce and soy sauce. So I have this turned up on high because I got started a little bit later today than I anticipated. So I'll leave it on high for about an hour and a half. Then I'll check on it, see if it needs any changes to the seasoning, and just see how it's going, and then turn it down onto low. So just remember, it's your kitchen. If you want to use a barbecue sauce or tomato sauce or any other kinds of seasonings and flavoring, feel free to add anything that you think that you would enjoy. So I'll be back in about an hour and a half to see how we're doing. Well, things are running a little behind schedule in the Stout House this afternoon. I checked my chicken about an hour and a half or 2 hours after I put it in. It was been a little slow, so because they were such big pieces of chicken, I went ahead and cut them in half and left them to cook a little longer. So now they are cooked. But they're not ready for serving. We want them to be cooked well enough to be able to shred up. So what I'm going to do, because I'm running out of time, is take the pieces out and cut them a little smaller and then give them a little longer in the pot. So I'll just cut these up and then I'll put them back in. Would have been much easier if I had simply cubed this before I put it in, but yeah, that's what I get for trying to take a shortcut. Shortcuts don't always work, do they? So I'll get the rest of those pieces cut up here in a moment. Just a little taste test of the juice. And that's very tasty. So I think we're on the right track there. So we'll finish cutting this up and we'll let it cook longer so that we can shred up the chicken and then I'll thicken up the juices a little bit. So I will be right back. The next step is to shred the chicken. You can do that while it's still in the pot with a couple of forks, or you can pull the pieces of chicken out and shred them on a cutting board and then pop them back into the pot. So I'll go ahead and get the chicken shredded and then I'll be right back. Because I used the chicken broth for the liquid in this. It's very loose, so what I want to do is thicken this up a little bit. An alternate way of doing this would have been to use a cream of chicken soup or cream of mushroom soup as the liquid for the stock. But what I'm doing, I'm taking a little water, just enough to dissolve some cornstarch. I put a couple of scoops of cornstarch in here, dissolve it, mix it in. That will create a gravy for this. Then I'll just put the lid back on for about 5 minutes to cook this cornstarch mixture and let it thicken up a little bit, and it will be ready to eat. Mix this in, give it a good stir, and put the lid back on. And it'll be all done. Now this would be a good time as well to add any extra seasonings that you think it might need. Just remember, you can eat this on sandwiches as just a chicken sandwich. You could serve it over rice or noodles or with potatoes and other vegetables. There's lots of things you can do with it. And you can add all kinds of different flavorings. You could season this up with a little bit of barbecue sauce, or maybe you could use some curry, or just about anything you can think of to change the flavor up and do something a little bit different with it. So we'll give this 5 minutes and we'll be right back. So it's all done. Let's see how it looks. Looks good. Let's try it on our sandwich. Delicious. But thank you for joining me today. Enjoy some nice loose meat chicken sandwich and have a great day. Thank you.